Hello, welcome to the Self Learning Podcast by Dr. Sushma Singh. Let us start discussion on Unit 3 Theory and Paradigm. And our topic is Classical Sociological Theories. The period of classical sociology belonged to the era when sociology emerged as a new discipline with the one central assertion that the scientific study of society is possible. Prior to that period, philosophers, intellectuals, as well as laymen thought of and conceived of society in their own ways, but the science of society could not emerge out. Philosophers' reflections, literary romanticism, and criticism, and people's own individual conceptions about the society had been the characteristics of the era prior to the emergence of the sociology. Although intellectuals belonging to different streams of thought as well as common people have had reflected upon the nature of society, but their efforts were primarily individual efforts. On the other hand, society had existed for a very long duration, which displayed its own internal statistics and dynamics. How does society behave as an entity in itself? How can it be studied scientifically? Can it be done? If yes, then how? All such questions dominated the earlier era in the development of sociological theory. This era belongs to what is today known as classical sociological theory. The following discussion refers to the same. The term sociology was coined by Auguste Comte, 1798 to 1857, a French sociologist and philosopher. He is also known as the father of sociology, although he had made some significant contribution to the subject, a part of which shall be discussed here too. But the most credible work done by him related to his efforts in establishing sociology as a scientific as well as an independent discipline. Before him, instead of sociology, we rather had philosophy, literature, and art, through which reflections on society were used to be made. Thus, in other words, how society could conceived of philosophically, literary, and through art had been the only available ways and tools to reflect upon society. The modern method of scientific analysis of the society as suggested by Auguste Comte was not just available before him. Therefore, the contributions of Auguste Comte must be seen as the path-breaking ones, helping to establish sociology as a new and independent discipline in its own right. Auguste Comte, in short, discussed at length of the course philosophically to argue that the scientific study of the society is possible, and when such efforts succeeded, the new subject would be known as sociology. What we must realize at the moment is the simple fact that this had never been an easy task. After establishing sociology as a new and independent scientific discipline, Auguste Comte had made some of his own contributions to it. Auguste Comte's own contribution to the subject sociology are referred to, although briefly, in the following discussion. The first one is law of three stages. Having established sociology as a separate and independent discipline, Auguste Comte divided sociology into two parts known as the social statistics, and the social dynamics. Former dealing with the question of equilibrium in the society and the later with the problems of change in society. Auguste Comte had also referred to the hierarchy of science like astronomy, mathematics, physics, chemistry, biology, and sociology. He was of the opinion that the sociology cannot be reduced to other sciences, be it mathematics, especially statistics, biology, or political economy. Auguste Comte had also talked about the law of three stages, namely theological, metaphysical, and scientific. According to him, every society passes through these three stages. In the theological stages, all the explanation concerning the events happening in nature were attributed to God, who was supposed to be in full command of the situation. The second state, that is the metaphysical, refers to the transitional stage where the events taking place in nature were considered neither as a supernatural act nor as based upon scientific explanations. This sort of transitional stage existed somewhere around 14th century. The third stage The third stage is known as the scientific stage, where neither theological nor metaphysical sort of explanation about society are considered sufficient. In the scientific stage of society, the explanations are examined rigorously, and no explanation is considered as a final one. Each explanation is considered as valid explanation only for the time being, until a better explanation arrives at the scene. Auguste Comte believed that the scientific methods could be applied for the study of society as well. The assertion, like one, although looks simple, but it actually contains an important philosophy, widely known as positivism. It was the philosophy of positivism which dominated the academic scene, not only in the France but over the entire Europe. In fact, the name of Auguste Comte had been associated with the philosophy in such a way that it sometimes considered as the only important contribution that we had made, as it cut across the geographical boundaries of France and the academic limits of the discipline of society. The scholars from some other disciplines have commented widely on the notion of positivism. Auguste Comte suggested that his scientific method for the study of society would be based upon comparison, observation, and experiment. Auguste Comte had explained these and allied concepts in detail, but in short, it could be said that he was able to establish sociology as a new scientific as well as an independent subject. Although it was Auguste Comte who had made the earlier but essential beginnings, it was Emile Durkheim who carried forward the fate of sociology by providing a new strides. His contribution to sociological theories is discussed next. Although his book deals with some of the complicated details regarding what according to him would be the sociological approach in future, but one illustration might be given here. Durkheim's method of social analysis emphasizes on the study of what he calls it social facts. His discussion on social facts not only clarifies his methodological as well as theoretical formulations, but also helps in establishing sociology as a new important and independent scientific disciplines. In fact, we can say that the first serious sociological formulation in the history of the subject begins with Durkheim's detailed treatment of the idea of social fact. His other formulations, like the division of labor in society, the study of suicide, the notion of elementary form of religious life, and views on education and sociology, are all concerned with the formulations built around the social facts. We shall briefly attempt to understand some of the issues related to the notion and methodology concerned with the formulation of social facts. According to Durkheim, social facts are ways of feeling, thinking, and acting commonly spread among the people, external to individual and exercising a constraint upon him. This quite compact notion might appear difficult to understand and comprehend, but we shall attempt to explain some of the complex issues related to it. These social facts are different from the facts concerning us at the individual or the psychological level. Additionally, Durkheim had also clarified that these social facts are external and exercise constraints upon individuals. According to him, we can identify these social facts when we attempt to go against them. Some of the social facts identified by Durkheim herself in his various research works are like rate of crime, rate of suicide, division of labor in society, and religion. How to use these social facts for the purpose of social analysis? In this context, Durkheim has given two clues. One, he suggests that the social facts should be treated as things, and two, one social fact must be explained with another social fact preceding it. In this way, Durkheim has tried to achieve mainly two objectives. One, to ensure that sociology virtually becomes a scientific discipline, and two, to take care that sociology remains as an irreducible subject and does not split into several parts belonging to other subjects. Durkheim has also referred to normal and pathological aspect of society. In this context, Durkheim's approach regarding how to deal with the various theoretical and methodological issues could be seen in his book, The Rules of Sociological Method, in detail. Another, understanding the theoretical contribution of Emile Durkheim, we shall try to explain the efforts of yet another pioneer scholar, Karl Marx, in our next discussion. Now let us wind up the session and take rest. Thank you very much for engaging yourself with the self-learning podcasts.